And welcome into the Week 8 edition of Panther Pride. Chad Bornett, your host, alongside head coach of the Wellborn Panthers, Jeff Smith. Excuse the voice a little bit. Too much screaming, you probably understand that, right?
Yes.
It's good to see you actually have a voice today, Coach. I know that last Friday, a little tough on a loss for you guys, 35-13 at home in front of a good crowd against the Piedmont Bulldogs.
Well, they've got a good football team, and we went out there and we were a little tight, and we made some mistakes that you can't make against a good team like that and have a chance to win. I think it's a very good learning experience, and we'll learn from it, and it'll help us in the future.
When you come out in a game like this, Coach, you got everybody kind of looking at this contest.
Right.
Game of the week, newspapers there. Everybody's pretty much there trying to see what's going to happen in this game. Both teams come in the same record. Is it a lot of intensity on the kids, and is it too much for them to take on?
I think going into the game, we had a good week of practice and we were prepared. We felt good going into the game. I think we put a little bit too much pressure on ourselves. And I think before the game in the locker room, you could feel the tension, on the players. It was senior night. Of course, all the media, a part of it. And on top of that, we had a very good football team we're playing.
Sure.
And then we go out there, and the first of the game, we're slugging it out with them. We're stopping them, they're stopping us. And then we have a few things not go our way right there, and then, it got away from us. And actually, we were very lucky to be down only 21-0 at halftime. We went in there at halftime, and everybody kind of settled down, calmed down, and we played a very good second half. Still, though, with the hole that we had dug for us in the first half, we just couldn't get out of. But I do feel like down the road, it helped our program, and it'll help us in our future.
I want to talk about your defense a little bit. Many people look at the final score and say, well, 35 points given up.
Yep.
How good was the defense? The defense is fantastic. There was, at one point, whenever Piedmont finally gets their first touchdown of the game, you guys had the kickoff return and the ensuing possession. You fumble it inside your own 10, but your defense stands strong. And there was that tone. They kept getting in a bad spot, but they kept stepping up for you guys.
Well, they did, and the thing with that, too, is our defense played very hard and really kept us in the game. But on the same token, though, there's 5 guys that play defense that are also playing offense.
Yeah.
And it's taking a lot out of them to make those stops, which hurts us offensively when they come over on offense because they spent so much energy, holding the other team out. But the whole thing going into the game was this: Piedmont's got a very good football team. That's number one. Number two, we got into the game and made some mistakes that we normally don't make, and put Piedmont in some good positions to score. And our kids played hard. Again, we went in halftime down 21-0. Could have been worse. Got in there at halftime, made some adjustments, came out the second half and played a lot better, and played more like ourselves in the second half. And again, I think it was a learning experience. And if we do face Piedmont or a team like them in the playoffs down the road right there, I think we can go back to this right there, and it will help us in our future.
Made mention to a couple of things. You can tell kids about the speed of a certain player or two, but it kind of takes seeing it live and in color to really understand that speed. And I know that the C.J. Savage kid, number 6, maybe got y'all a couple of times. Well, maybe that will be different.
Outstanding player. Outstanding player with top speed. And again, just like you said, when you see them on the film, okay, and we talk about them, that's one thing. You cannot simulate speed and moves like that in practice. Nobody can. And when he can get the ball in open field and be able to have room to do what he does, he's dangerous. And he was very, very much an X factor for them in the game. And man, I tell you what, he's an outstanding football player.
Certainly is. About as big as a hiccup, but boy, he can run.
Yes.
No doubt about it. So we'll go to break. We'll come back, check out the highlights of the first half and second half and see how this game exactly shook out. You're watching Panther Pride here during the Week 8 edition right here on TV 24. Back in the Week 8 edition of Panther Pride, head coach Jeff Smith alongside us to talk about the contest and look at the highlights. Coach, I heard during the game, 60 years, the birthday of Wellborn High School.
That's right.
Pretty intense night. I mean, pretty good night for you guys to be able to represent 60 full years as a school?
Very much. You know, our community is very proud of our school. And if you go back to the history, you know, getting our school, you know, our community at one time, you know, we all was in that Oxford school. It was a county school at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they were able to form Wellborn High School, our communities really always took a lot of pride in that. And you know, it's really the center of our community. And you know, our community is very proud of our school. And you know, our football team has represented our school and community for years and years and years. And that's really what we've hung our hat on, and we've been very proud of it.
Definitely a good history, no doubt, and a chance to go to 6 straight playoff appearances to make all 60 years of alumni happy at the end of the season. Let's go to the highlights of last week's game against the Piedmont Bulldogs. Coach, a nice crowd on hand.
Good crowd.
Seemed like a great night. Maybe the weather was going to escape us, but not the case. Started out with a huge defensive struggle on both sides here, Coach.
Very much. Well, right here we came up short. This is 4th and 2, and we have to punt. Chandler Cup punted for us in the game and had some outstanding punts right there, and we were able to tilt the field position in our favor right then, and have Piedmont have to start on their 22-yard line. Started out with a first drive, and our defense really stepped up and played very well right here. They tried to throw a screen, and it's incomplete, and you see there was a lot of black jerseys around the ball.
Mm-hmm.
We come out and have a good opening few plays right there, and we got a first down, but then had to turn around and punt. They then came, we punted to them, they got the ball, and again, we held them again, and it's going to force them into a punting situation coming up here. See Landon come up and make a real good tackle there.
Three big defensive plays.
The
guys that affected the game, and this was a huge play. It was a 3rd and about 9.
Mm-hmm.
You stop him just short, forced the punt.
Here's the punt right here, and we got running into the kicker right here. We felt like we were blocked into it, but we did hit the kicker there, and they ended up getting a first down. Here, they throw a little quick screen out there and get a first down. I actually think that was their first down they made in the quarter.
It was.
And then here they run their sweep play right there, and he gets the edge on us right there and gets into the end zone.
So not a turnover per se, but really it kind of is with that 1 5-yard penalty because it gives them an extra possession.
Well, we also had a face mask penalty on that
Yeah.
same drive too, so they got 20 yards in penalties on that one drive. Then they kick off to us right here, and then we're trying to get the return here, and we're handling the ball too loose here, and Kadarius here fumbles the ball. And our defense went out there right then and with no momentum, losing momentum, and had a great stop. I mean, a really good stop, and was very proud of them for this right here.
Tigner kind of probably forced that action a little bit with a
Very
good
much,
rush on the
very
edge.
much. And, you know, you see Jamisio there, 76, rushing the passer, and you see your guys running to the ball right there, and DJ there holding on for dear life. And, you know, we just, you know, again, here they throw a pass right there, and it's over the outstretched arms, but we collisioned him good before the play, and then they tried a field goal and missed it. So it's 7-0 right here, and really both sides really went at it.
So do you feel at this point maybe the guys could have settled down after making that big defensive stop?
I did, and we came up there right then, and you saw that pass right there. That was very close to being a completion right there, but that we didn't get it, and that was 3rd down, and so that we ended up having to punt to them again. They came up here, incomplete pass. You can see the frustration out of the Piedmont players too, because it is going back and forth like, you know, really a defensive struggle. Throw a good pass here, it's incomplete again. We're still running to the football. We held them there. We're coming down right there. Now we're making some yards and getting some first downs and moving the football right here. And we got a good play here. Made the first down, helmet on the ball comes loose, and we turn it over. So at that time, we'd made like 3 first downs in a row and then turned the ball over. They come back, have a nice pass right here. We don't hit and wrap up, and they get the ball inside our 5-yard line. Again, here they try their sweep play right there, got the edge sealed and scored on us and got up by 2 scores.
So again, the turnover leads to those 7. You got the ball going again?
Yes, and here we have a tip ball that ended up being an interception here. But at the time, we had also drove the ball down into the 30-yard line in the Piedmont territory at the time. And then they came back with a speed sweep right there, and we had it stopped on the play side, and he cut the thing back all the way across right there, and he just got outstanding speed.
it almost looks like he doesn't even put it in full gear sometimes, and he still is
Well,
just
he's in full gear. I mean, he's in full speed going right there, and then here we're going out there and we're trying to throw a pass here, and we're getting pressured right there, and they get the ball, get the ball from Landon right there, and we turned it over again.
But again, it's close to the end of the first half. You turned over in your territory. Your defense could have folded because it's 21-0.
Right.
And then they get a big play here, but they still kept fighting, Coach.
Look at number 4, Quindarius Moore. He missed the first tackle right there, but he got up off the ground and ended up making the tackle on a very good football player. And here they're rolling out. We're giving pressure right then, fighting, scratching, and right here they throw an incomplete pass. Here, same thing again. Throw another incomplete pass, and then there was another pass right before the half that Tamonte Walker almost picked off, and we go in 21-0 at halftime. And again, we had 2 drives. Well, actually, we had 2 drives where we had drove down, from their 35-yard line plus, and turned the ball over. And then of course, they had the three scores that they got, off our turnovers. Well, the first one was off a couple of penalties, and then the other 2 they got off turnovers. So we had the ball turned over 4 times and only gave away 2 scores on that. And then we had 2 penalties that we shouldn't get and gave a score then. But now don't take nothing away from Piedmont. They're very good, and it takes a good team to capitalize when you get opportunities like that. There's a lot of teams that get opportunities to score that can't score. Well, a team like Piedmont, if you give them the opportunities, then they're going to take advantage of it right there, and that's when we ended up 21-0 at halftime.
So we'll come back to the second half highlights. A little rain, a little delay. We'll see how they handle that adversity at halftime. When we come back, you're watching Panther Pride. About to view the second half highlights here on Panther Pride. Coach, as we mentioned before we went to break, some inclement weather hit the area Friday night. Very fortunate that we didn't have to come back on Saturday or Monday morning, but had about a 30-minute delay. Kind of tell me how that affected y'all.
Well, before the game, we got a pretty good rain that came rolling in, but then it succeeded so when we got out there to start the game off, we were able to start the game. Well, then at halftime, the bands are out there playing, from what I understand, and had a huge streak of lightning that came through, and we got a 30-minute delay. Well, actually, I felt like that went in our favor because now we wasn't so rushed to make our adjustments. We were able to make adjustments, then talk about what had actually happened to us, calm the players down, and get them to relax and go out there and play the second half. And as you see, the second half we played a lot better football game.
So we go to those second half highlights as Piedmont actually would get the ball first, which kind of makes you wonder, okay, how is that going to affect everything? But again, they have a nice drive here, but your defense, once again, would stand up before it's all
Well, we had a
up.
ground kick, and we got down there and covered this kick here and get their running back down. Okay, so they start their drive inside the 35, and they came out and had a good first play right here. And it just seems like after this play here and we knocked him out of bounds, we just settled down. They come up here, try to run a counter. We're all over it right there. Landon makes a good tackle, had 10 tackles for the game. Has played very well for us at inside linebacker all year. Corey comes up and gets some good pressure on the ball there.
And that was the 4th down play right
Sure
there.
It was right there, and we held them. All right, so now here we come out there on offense, and we get a nice drive going right here. Okay, so here we come here. Get the ball up here, make some good first downs. You see DJ Roden. DJ Roden's as tough as iron.
He ran hard Friday
He does.
night.
We had to punt, okay, but now it's like we're punting on their 45. Again, Chandler makes a good punt. We roll it down there, get the ball, I think, inside their 15, and then this happens here. We have a good stop right there. That's the first down play. The second down play, they get a high snap right there. They go back. We get after it right there, and we score. So basically what happened is we had to punt, and 2 plays later we were able to finish a drive. That's what it ended up being.
It's a chain of events. It's a great punt, and then it's a sack, and then the fumble. Now because of the great punt and the sack, the Blues ball's in the end zone.
21-7. It's 21-7 right there. They run their sweet play. We've made our adjustments to it. We come up right here, boom, have a good tackle on it right there, and number 7, their running back's out. But they have this player that you can't account for. And DJ Savage, he catches the ball makes his move right there and cuts back right there and has a a game changer.
Yeah.
And makes the game back, gets them back to 28-7 going into the fourth quarter.
And you had a guy on the ball there who made a good break on it. Was there for the play.
Right there again, just a few inches short right there. We had a nice pass right there that we attempted, and we just came up just a little short. They put in their backup running back in. He's in now. And they're coming down the field right there. This is Coach Hayes' son. Coach Hayes used to be the head coach at Piedmont when I was at Ohatchee right there, and his son is tough. Boy, I tell you what.
He's hard-nosed kid.
He really is right there, and he passed some licks and take some licks right there, and we really had a lot of respect for him in the game. They had a nice drive that they put together with Hayes right here, and they ended up scoring here, making it 35-7 right there.
But again, they took them to 4th down and goal.
Fourth and goal to score on us, it did right there. And here we come now. Jordan Montgomery comes in, had some nice runs here, running hard, and Jordan's a tough kid. Here you see him again right there running, protecting the football, got his wrist above his elbow, holding the ball tight. All right. Again, here comes Landon right here for a first down. When he gets ahead of steam, it's hard.
At this point, he's looking for some contact.
Absolutely.
It's 35-7. He wants to have some action.
Well, if it's 0-0, he's looking for the contact. And here we finally get Corey loose to get a nice pass, and we score. We went for 2 right here to try to get it to make it to 35-15. And the reason we did that is to try to get a morale boost, saying that we won the second half. Because it would made it 15-14 second half. They got a good program. The kids acted with a lot of class, and our hats off to Piedmont, Coach Smith and them, and they did a good job and were prepared well and played hard, and best of luck to them.
So let's go back to that 2-point conversion. You say you want to go back here to say we won the second half. How much is that mentality-wise to be able to tell your team that?
Well, I think it's something positive. I think the way the game started and the mistakes that we made, and look, our players didn't go into the game to make those mistakes. Generally we had 4 turnovers, and we've had some years that we didn't have 4 turnovers for the year, and we went games where we've had we went 2 and 3 weeks without laying the ball on the ground a single time. So that was uncharacteristic of us, and they didn't mean to do that. I think it was the stress going into it, where we were prepared. I felt like the kids were ready. I felt like they were worried about making a mistake, other than worried about making a play. There's a difference. I don't want our players to go out there on the field. Oh, I hope I don't mess up. I want them to go on the field. I want our players to go on the field ready to make the play, rather than to mess up the play. And I felt like we went in the game worried about messing up more than we went into the game worried about going to win. And we've got to make sure that we got the mentality of we're going into the game to win the game, rather than mess up the game for these next weeks coming down the road.
Let me ask you, after the game was on the field, and I asked you, how's this going to affect the kids? You said, I don't know, I'll find out in about 30 seconds. How were they after the game?
Well, they were disappointed. I mean, we take a lot of pride, and they were upset that they lost. They went down there happy by no means, and went down there and they were disappointed. And I told them, just like I've told you, we went into the game, we were too tight, and we made some mistakes. And, and against a good team, you cannot make those mistakes and win the game, and that's what we did. When I say they were too tight, we don't want our kids before the game being there, being cut up and all that stuff right there. That's not it. But you got to have the frame of mind that I'm going to go out there and I'm going to make these plays. You got to visualize yourself making the plays and get yourself ready to play. And if you go out there, boy, I hope I don't mess up the game. If you go in a game like that, then you're going to make mistakes. But if you go in that game ready to make plays, you'll make them. Well,
Coach, tough loss for you guys Friday night, but the good thing is got some more games left throughout the season.
Absolutely.
And the chance to make the playoffs comes up this Friday night. We'll talk about that when we come back. You're watching Panther Pride. Final segment of today's show, a chance to look ahead to this week. And
right.
Coach, you guys got to bounce back this week and a chance to make the playoffs with a win this Friday night.
We will. We will. We'll bounce back. I know the character of our players. I know what our program's like. I know how our coaches are. We will bounce back this week. Now, we're going to Asheville, and we'll be on the road, and we've got to go over there and win the game. And, Asheville's going to, try to keep us from doing that. But if we win this week, we'll make the state playoffs. And that'll be the first time in the school history we've had a generation of kids that went from the 7th grade to their 12th grade year and have never missed the playoffs. So that means our 7th graders, which was Landon and Kevin Mixon, Jeremiah Farmer, and them, when they hit the 7th grade, every year the varsity football team has made the playoffs for 6 straight years. And that's never happened in our school history, and they started the state playoffs in 1970. So we will be able to accomplish something that's never been accomplished before. That will put us in the state playoffs. The next week, our next opponent, Ohatchee, right there, we'll play them for what seed will be in the state playoffs. Then once we get in the state playoff, then the last week of the season, we've got a week off right here to get everybody healed up, recovered, freshened up, mentally freshened up, and then get ready for the first round of state playoffs. And, we're going to be on the road. We can go on the road, hopefully get us a good win there and come back right there and host the next round at Wellborn. And, those are our goals. All the goals that we have set for ourselves for the season are still out there for us to accomplish. We've just got to go out there this week, have a good solid week of practice, work on our fundamentals, holding on to the football, protecting the football, making sure that we're staying on our blocks, running to the football, making good tackles. We'll go back to our fundamentals right there and go to Asheville and get a win right there and get ourselves set up and do something that's never been done in school history before.
And that's saying a lot because those teams in the 80s, 90s, semifinal state runs. What do you know about Asheville as far as what have you seen so far? Anything to be concerned about specifically?
Well, no, they look good. No, they got some big kids. Coach Martin he's in his 2nd year. I think that they've had a lot of injuries because the film that I've watched on them, I watched 4 games on them yesterday, and from the start of the season to now, they've missed some players, and I'm sure they've had some injuries as the years went. You can kind of tell how they're playing, that they're without this kid or with this kid's now playing and this kid wasn't playing. So I think they've had to fight the injury bug, and that's common when you starting your program up because the kids are not been weight training like they're supposed to and everything, or they're changing weight programs right there and they're more susceptible to injuries.
Well, that's one thing. Well, I won't even mention the injury bug because it's been good so far. So hope it stays that way.
Right.
Coach, good luck to you guys this Friday night.
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys next week on another edition of Panther Pride, hopefully talking about another playoff run for the Wellborn Panthers. We'll be back. See you then. Until then, have a good day.